When you start getting a little bit of fuck you money, you start to realize just how much happiness money can buy. Do you want to know how much you can buy with it? How much? The answer after this.
DelicateBeats.com.
When you don't have a lot of money, you think that every single dollar is a step to get you closer to being happy. At least that's what I thought. When I grew up, I thought that you were in money when you started making 6 figures yearly. So for the better part of my childhood and adolescence, that's what I dreamed of, making 6 figures. The job didn't matter all that much. All that mattered at that time was material wealth, physical comfort, and social standing. Boy, was I wrong. Sure, there's a difference between being behind in mortgage payments and not being able to take like 2 vacations a year. But happiness and fulfillment have nothing to do with how much money you make. In this video, I'd like to share 10 things I've learned from getting a bit of financial success. 10 things I wish I knew 10 years ago. Number 1, treats only buy temporary happiness. I love junk food, McDonald's and chocolate bars especially. Whenever I feel down, that's how I patch up and heal my soul. Usually what I'll do is I'll chug down whatever I bought in a few minutes, smile, sit back, feel kind of good. But when the dopamine crave spikes back up, I realize I'm back to square one. So the idea is to limit these emotional treats. For some, it might be shoes and clothes. For others, it's outdoor gear and sports equipment. For me, it's food and sample libraries. The goal is to recognize the existence of this need for treats in your life and hopefully start to see them as temporary relief and remedies to negative emotions. Nowadays, I focus on feeding my passion for music as much as I can. I mean, reinvesting in my music business. That way, at least when I patch up my soul with something I buy, it becomes an investment in my future. Number 2, scarcity is in the mind, mostly. Not having enough money is quite uncomfortable. I had to call my dad twice to bail me out in the past. Once to pay for rent and once to pay for my taxes. Obviously, before those events, let's just say I wasn't living a lavish lifestyle. I was broke. Now that I'm more comfortable financially, I realize I still have the same fears. I still fear that my sales will go dead. I still fear that I'm going to go broke. We are programmed to prepare for the worst. It's part of our survival instincts. The goal, therefore, is to live with fear without letting it become crippling. Once you start allowing fear to exist, you can focus on producing wealth. I know it sounds counterintuitive. The more you produce, the more you feel empowered by your inner strength. And the fear of not making enough money becomes smaller than your ability to create resources. Number 3, the best way to buy happiness is through experiences. Instead of buying new Jordans or a fancy car, buy experiences. Number 1, make it social. I say it all the time. As humans, we need to connect with other human beings, that is. Going out, laughing, and chatting with friends give you such a boost in positive energy. Next, rent instead of buy. Owning is stressful, and the pride that comes with it fades away very quickly. This is one of the biggest lessons I took away from reading The 4-Hour Workweek. Aside from having the courage to turn my beat selling business into an automated online cash cow. When you rent, you can experience all of the finer things in life without the hassle of making expensive payments and repairs. Next, give instead of getting. Why do you think I make all of these videos? To make you buy contact kits, serum presets, or my book? Yeah, it kind of helps. But the greatest reward is when someone that I don't know comments on my videos and tell me it was of great use to them. That feels way better than a few more dollars in my bank account. As they say, it's all about the 3 G's. Give, give, get. Next point, feel good instead of looking good. As you know, I have made quite a turnaround with my health and lifestyle. Over the past years, I've lost close to 40 pounds. I changed my diet completely. I got off 2 medications and I started to exercise regularly. What I can tell you is an Armani suit will never look expensive on an unhealthy person, while a cheap suit might look incredible on someone healthy, all smiles with a great glow. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you should invest in you to grow, heal, and pamper what's inside. Next point, learn something. Finally, and this goes back to the previous point of investing in yourself. Buy a class. It might be my Bedroom Super Producer Masterclass, an online course on your favorite DAW or software synth, or a cooking class. Whatever it is, learning something new can truly set the universe in motion. You become a different person, and in doing so, the universe brings you new things to experience. All right, number 4, no job is truly safe. People lose their jobs every day. Job security, I think, is at an all-time low. With this in mind, why not try to open that business you've always dreamed of? What's the worst that can happen? Of course, I advocate to start a business the safe way. You start it on the side while you have a day job, and then you plan for a smooth transition. Mental and emotional stability is a much stronger position than job stability. Number 5, spending is easy, saving is hard. When I was working as a graphic designer a few years ago, I used to eat out for lunch every day of the week. After a while, I got into some credit card debt. Nothing crazy, something like $5K, I think. Basically, I had been overspending $100 every week for a year. When I realized what was wrong, I sat down with my financial planner and we went over my expenses. It became very clear my eating habits were the culprit. To get rid of the debt, I had to make some big sacrifices. Make a new budget, make some box lunches every day, and basically not do anything fun for a while. During the same meeting, she also convinced me as a young adult that I needed to put money on the side for the future. That meant I even had less money to make debt go away. It was extremely difficult, and it took me a long time to get debt free. It actually took me twice the amount of years, so basically 2 years, to reimburse a year of overspending. So the moral of the story is, don't go into debt by all means necessary. Use the extra cash you'd use to go to the restaurant and save that up for your retirement, new business, or some other experience that has a direct impact on your development. Number 6, the amount of money you need is far smaller than you think. When I changed my budget to reimburse the credit card debt, I realized something very important. After a while, you get used to anything, even living on less money. You get creative and you find new ways to create pleasure in your life. That's why when I was preparing to quit my corporate job to go full-time on the music thing, I again created a more aggressive spending plan. And get this, 6 years later, I still live by it. The only difference is I invest way more money in my portfolio and in my business. So check your spending habits. Cut as many things as you can. Number 7, debt is incredibly difficult to reimburse. When talking about the fact that spending is way easier than saving, I said that debt is actually extremely difficult to get rid of. Well, let me say it again. Don't go in a debt, ever. You got it? All right, let's move on. Number 8, don't let advertisement define your choices. We all make our choices based on who we think we are and who we want to become. Mostly because we are programmed by all of the ads we see in magazines and on TV. I once worked with a guy who wore fancy suits and who lived in a very fancy apartment in like the most expensive neighborhood in town. He also stayed at the fanciest hotels on vacations because, as he put it, he was high class. We had similar jobs and I could never quite understand how he did it. I then realized something about all of these wannabe yuppies. They were willing to go into debt to keep up with a certain look, a certain lifestyle. Don't be that person. First of all, I think I made a very strong case for why going into debt is a very dangerous thing to do. Second of all, the image that you portray will never compensate for who you truly are inside. And well, that guy I talked about was not a high-flying exec by any means. He was at the bottom of the ladder like all of us mortals. If you have to go fancy, pick only one area in your life, not several. Number 9, it's never enough. I once talked with a wealthy business partner of mine about the amount of money it took before you stopped wanting more. I'll always remember what he told me. Someday you will see millions in your bank account and it'll look like expletive on the floor. You won't care about the number because it was never about the number to begin with. Wow, that actually crushed my hopes and dreams faster than a freshman in college crushes a beer can on his forehead. But after a few years, I realized that this is actually true. Our minds do not generate bigger feelings of relief and comfort by seeing some number in a bank account or PayPal account. Sure, you might get a little bit of a dopamine spike when you see a new sales notification on your smartphone, but trust me when I say this, it's very short-lived. What stays is the love of the craft and feeling like what you're doing is your true purpose. Finally, number 10, passion and purpose buy happiness. To finish my list of lessons, things I've learned from living my dream life and getting financially secure is a point I want to restate. What you love to do, your purpose, is what defines your level of happiness, not your financial achievements. Yes, the bigger the effort usually results in a bigger number, but that's all it is, a number. Listen, I hope you picked up a few useful things in this video, and if that's the case, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Instagram at @DelicateBeats. I'd also like to extend an invitation for you to join my early bird waiting list to know exactly when I'll be dropping my online class, the Bedroom Super Producer Masterclass. If you're a music producer and this kind of message resonates with you and you want to take your chance at building a beat selling business and living your music producer dream, this masterclass is going to be very, very useful. So as the spots are limited, you will need to join this early bird gang of mine. Enter your email and name by clicking on the link in the description of this video. And that way we'll stay in touch and I'll let you know exactly when the course drops. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.